Hello, we're live now. Hello, hello, and welcome to Solving Stream. I'm so excited to see what these puzzles entail for us. I'm antsy. I every time someone puts a puzzle in there, uh, especially the Joy of Puzzles, the ones I'm like, oh, I want to solve that. But I try to wait. Um, there have been a couple that people sent me privately that I was just like, I'll just probably do this because it wasn't really a Joy of Puzzles one. It was more like something that was inspired by it. But yeah, this is pretty cool. Maybe I should show those ones. There's some Maze Gator sent me some physics and chemistry puzzles because I like that kind of stuff. Physics person. So I don't know if that would be a general interest, but I should put those in there. Fine. Hello, hello, Isabella, Isaiah, Super Rabbit, and Tour. Is that how you say your name, Tour? I think it's Sky as well. Hello, David. How's it going? All right, we're gonna start with Andreas's puzzle. We're gonna go through quite a few puzzles, so I'm not gonna ping any that is not. Trying to think of a different way to pronounce it, like tw hmm. It's always just the same. Twire, twire, like kind of like choir, like twire. I don't know. Pronunciation's weird. Anyways, let's go with Andreas' puzzle. As I was saying before, as I was saying before, we're gonna go through quite a few puzzles, so I'm not gonna ping any one. But as always, you can go back and check out the puzzle if you want to look at the VOD. The VOD is always there, unless it's not, which it probably won't, or it probably will be. But if it's not, sorry, but it will probably be there. I don't know why I'm rambling. Let's just get started. All right. Before we get started, actually, like the stream, subscribe if you're not subscribed. You can only type in chat if you're subscribed. That's mostly for the bots, but you know, you can do it anyway. All right, we have normal 6x6 Sudoku rules apply. Digits on arrows sum to the digit attached to their arrow, or to sum to the digit in their attached circle. So these three digits are a minimum of 1, 2, 3. Therefore, this has to sum to 6. We're going to be seeing that a lot because of the deduction that we sort of forced in the Joy of I won't spoil it, but that's part of it. If you haven't seen the Joy of Puzzles episodes, go check those out. They're awesome, and go make a puzzle. And if you get it in there soon enough, maybe I'll solve it at the end of the stream. All right, so we have this 6 and this 1, 2, 3. This 6 can't go in these two cells and can't go in those cells that are on its arrow, so it has to go here. Now, this can't be a 6, and this is minimum of 1, 2, and 1, so that could be as low as 4. So this is 4 or 5. Hello, Palfly. How's it going? Let's see here. Yeah, we're missing the creepy meme Ross eyes in the background. I love that the one in the arrows has a picture of himself on the shirt. It's just so good. Uh, these two, one of those, or this digit would go down there. Not sure if that's useful yet. I guess we can look at where 6 can go, because it can't go on an arrow, because then you'd have to have 6 and 0. Unless it was this arrow, but that arrow also can't be 6. Well, there's no 6 here, and there's no 6 here, because of what we just said. So there's a 6 in one of those two, so there's no 6 there, because there's already a 6 in this row. No 6 there, so 6 is in one of these two cells. I guess this cell has to be either 3, 4, or 5. And these are not super free. This digit, is it possible that this one can go on that arrow? I mean, if it was 3 for sure, right? I mean, this has to be 3, 4, 5 as well. This was a 3, it could go there with a 2, and that could be 5. Just warming up. I guess this is 4, 5. We can say that. This is 1, 2, 3. Needs to be a 4 and a 5 down here. It's kind of unlikely that this will be a 4 or 5, but I guess it could be 4, 1 to give you 5. Or 1 to give you 5. Then the 5 would have to go here. Oh, well, this digit is obviously here because it can't go on its own arrow. I think that was pretty obvious. Oh, and this has to go here. Yeah, I'm just getting warmed up. Just getting warmed up. So one of those needs to go down here, but more importantly, there's a 4, 5 pair here, which makes this a 3, which does lots of things. Okay, just getting warmed up. So this needs to be a 3, because there needs to be a 3 in one of these 3 cells. And this has to be a 4, 5 pair. We can put this 4, 5 pair. These are 1, 2, and 6. That's not a 6, because it's on an arrow. What else can we do here? This is 4 or 5, so this has to be a 3 or a 4, I think, because yeah, you could only make... Yeah, I'm getting confused. 1, 3, 2, 3, or 1, 4 would work. So probably looking at this arrow will give us some hint as to what's going on. Or maybe this one. Because this can't have a 3 on it now, so it has to have... Well, it can't be 1 and 2, so it has to have either a 4 or 5. So it's either 1, 4 adding to 5, or it's 1, 5 adding to 6, or 2, 4 adding to 6. I wasn't thinking about 2, 4. So I guess it's anything but a 6. I was going to say there has to be a 5 on the arrow, but of course 2, 4 would work. So we have to be a little bit careful about... I guess 3 is in one of these 2 cells. We know that. What else do we know? One of these 2 cells is a 4 or 5, but that's not really that helpful. I guess these can't be 4 or 5 in that case, so these are 1, 2, 3, and 6. I guess this whole box is 1, 2, 3, 6. That's not very helpful. Oh, so where can 6 go in this row? It has to be in one of these 2 cells. So 6 has to be in one of these 3 cells. It can't be there, so it has to be in one of those 2 cells. What's the minimum of these 2 cells? Is 1, 2. I guess 1, 2, and 3 are in here. This is still either 4 or 5. Does this have to be a 2? Or sorry, can this be a 2 is what I was going to ask. Uh-oh. We have a 4, 5 in box. Ah, yes, there is a 4, 5 looking down here, yeah. So this has to be either 4 or 5, because 1 and 2 won't add to a number that isn't in the box, because 3 is already there. What was I saying before this? Can this be a 2? I don't think so, because then this would be minimum... Oh no, what am I saying? It wouldn't be minimum 1, 3, because obviously there could be another 2. I need to warm up my brain for some reason. My brain is cold, even though it's quite warm here. So this 4, 5 will have to go in one of these 2 cells. Oh, there is a 4, 5 pair now in this row. So I guess these cells have to be 1, 2, and 6. Our lovely 1, 2, 6. And now the 4, 5 that's blue can't go in that cell. So it has to go here, which makes that a 5, which makes this a 4, that a 1, that a 5, that a 2, that a 3. That has to be a 4. This can't be a 1. These can't be 2s, so that has to be a 2. That's 4 and 5. 2 goes there. 1 goes there. So it did have to be a 1, but not for those reasons. You just fill in some mindless numberings from Sudokus. Put the 2s here. This obviously has to be a 6. That has to be a 6. These are the same, so those are both 5. That gives us a 4 here, making that 1, 1, 2. 4 goes there because of the roping, and 5 and 4. And this 5 puts a 5 up here, which gives us a 3 over here. This 3 needs a place in this row, so that needs to be a 3. That gives us the 1, 3. The 1 down here gives us a 2 and a 1. And we're done. This does not include a solution. Probably make it have a solution. I think it did have a solution, but I remade the link so it would have Andreas's. Sorry if there's some noise. I have the window open because it's quite warm. I remade Andreas's puzzle with his name. All right, Andreas, that was cool. Very nice. That was quite intricate for a first puzzle, I think. It didn't fall apart like that easily, I thought. Very interesting. I really liked these two having to go down here, but it wasn't clear where they went until we got that 4-5 pair here from this 4-5 pair. This arrow did a lot of work. I can imagine that the grid wasn't very restricted until Andreas added this arrow, which did, holy crap, a lot of work because it made this 4-5 pair, which then placed this 5 here. A lot of heavy lifting from this tiny little arrow. I love when little things do lots of things. All right, we're gonna move over to toy ears, I think, is what Toyer or Toyer, I think. Toyer? I feel like that's what I was saying before. Toyer? Oh, wait. Or was I saying Tor? I was saying Tor. So it's Toyer. This does look a lot more scary than the other one. Oh, and we need to change the OBS so we can see the full rules here. There we go. All right, so place the digits 1 to 6 exactly once in every row, column, and region. Regions being anything outlined in these solid lines, including this is a region and that is a region, because the regions share cells which have these outlines between the cells. A region with or cell with a region border passing through it is a part of both regions. And as well, cells separated by a white dot are consecutive digits, so these two digits need to be consecutive, so 3 and 4 would work, but 3 and 6 would not work, because 3 and 6 are not consecutive. Yeah, my first thought would noir. I was thinking about that too now, like noir, and trying to make it toir, but my brain couldn't handle that because I couldn't make it. I couldn't make that connection, but I was definitely thinking along those lines for sure. And not all dots are given, so if this was a 3, oh, that's a bad example. If this was a 4, this could be a 3, because even though there's no white dot between them, not all dots are necessarily given. Acceptable, but not intended. Okay. So this kind of reminds me of was that Jay Dyer thing, squished nights or something like that, but this is an irregular grid, which is even more wild. Very, very wild indeed. All right, let's get rolling here. So there's quite a few consecutiveness with this region here. Consecutiveness. I don't know how to say that otherwise. This is back to the tour thing. I don't know how to say words. Where does 2 go in this region? In one of those 3 cells, and those are all consecutive with things. These 2 can't be 1s. This could be a 1, so unfortunately we don't have like some kind of maybe 3s go in these cells, but no. One of these is consecutive with 2 for sure. I guess maybe we should ask where 2 goes in this region, because that might help, as we can probably see. So 2 does not go in those 2 cells, which means it does go in these 3 cells, and therefore it cannot go in those 2 cells. So in this region, 2 can't go here because of these, and 2 can't go here because of this, and 2 is not a 1, so 2 goes there, and this cannot be a 1, so it must be a 3. Squishdoku, yes. A regular Squishdoku. Squishdoku is also a hard thing to say. 5. Yes, row 5, column 5 does look quite busy. I love these, like, these corners which belong to 2 different things, and is there any cell which belongs to 3 different boxes? Is that a thing? I don't think so. I think they only belong to 2 regions. There's some reason why 3 regions would be a problem. I guess you'd need to have another overlap, probably, that has 3 regions in it to account for that somehow. There's got to be something like that. That's just my intuition. I don't know if I haven't actually proved that. But anyways. So now we can do the normal Squishdoku sort of thing and say that 2s can't be in any of these cells or any of these cells because this 2 belongs to both of these regions. And 2 also can't belong to that cell because it's in the row. So 2 in this row has only 1 place, right there. Oh, and I guess... I guess, awkwardly enough, we could have done that with 1s beforehand and placed a 1 there. But I just... given digits are just invisible sometimes, I suppose. Yes, I think so. That's my intuition, at least. Toyer says, I think you need an exact number of times each number exists. If you count that number exists X time. Okay, that's more confusing for me to say out loud. I don't know why I was saying that out loud. This has to have 4, 5, and 6 because it can't be a 1, 2, and it can't have a 3. So it must have a 5 in it. So I guess the 3 in this region goes in one of those 2 cells, along with the 4 or 6 that is not with this. So then I suppose 5 goes in one of these 2 cells with the 4 or 6 that is in here. So I guess we could color those the same if you really want to. Does that do something interesting with these 2 cells? No, because if this was a 5 with that 4 or 6, then it would be fine. Yeah, I'm not sure if it does anything with those 2 cells. Let's look at more squish things. So 2s can't be in any of those cells. So in this region, it can't be in those 2 cells or that cell. Or this one, I guess. So 2 is in one of these 2 cells. Oh, maybe we should look at more obvious things. 2 in this region can't be in this cell or those cells. So 2 needs to go in one of these 2 cells. I guess we could have looked at this column as well. That would have been... Is that I or 1? 1 is placed in row 5? Row 5 can't have a 1 there or there. 1 can't be on the consecutive dot. That's really cute. Nice. Good spot, Isaiah. So 1 must be here in row 5. Now, what about in row 6? Row 6 can't be there or there, so I guess row 6 and this region are the same thing in this case. Now, if 1 was here, could 1 go in this region? Well, 1 wouldn't be able to go in any of those, so 1 would have to go there. Oh, in this row, now 1 can't be in these 2 cells, or these 3 cells, so 1 has to go there, so 1 has to go there. And now my intuition was right, this 1 can't be a 1. Now, in this row, this has to be the 1 because all of these belong to other regions and every other region has a 1. That's kind of interesting. You can sort of think about what cells have to have, or what cells are only in one region. There must be something to do with cells being only in one region. There's got to be like a certain number of those compared to the shared ones for a certain digit. I can't articulate any of this in a intelligible way, probably because I'm just waking up. Oh, 2 in this region now. 2 can't go here now because the 1 took its place, so now 2 goes here. So now what about 2 in this row? 2 can't go there, or there, or there, or there. I thought that was going to be good. I guess what about 2 in this region? It can't go in these 2 cells or these cells. Oh, I meant these 2 cells. So that is a 2. So then that can't be a 2. So now the 2 in this region has to be right here because of these 3 2s. I think that's all the 2s and all the 1s. The 3s, not so much placed. There needs to be a 3 in one of these 2 cells for this region, but this one is inside that region, so that has to be a 3. Now that has to be a 4 because we can't put a 2 anywhere else. That can't be a 4. These can't be 4s, and this was the one that was not on here. So the 6 can't be on here because there's already a 6 in this region now with this 3-6 pair. So now this is a 5 and a 4, and this is a 5 and a 4. Get rid of the coloring there. Now this can't be 5 and 4, but it could be 5 and 6 or 3 and 4. And these 2 digits must go down there. We can bring back the blue coloring, or maybe yellow. Pretty sure you need exactly 2 of a shared digit, but it's been a while since I set this, so I might be wrong. Yeah, maybe. That seems plausible. 2 of a shared digit. What does that mean? Like 2 digits that are only in one region? I'm not sure, actually. Row 2, column 1. Oh, that's a good spot. That has to be a 3 because 1s are already placed. So therefore, these can't be 3, 4. They have to be 5, 6. So this has to be a 5 and a 6. 4 and 3. And unfortunately, yellow goes away. Color is very short-lived in this puzzle. We need a 4 in this region, and it can't go here, so that's a 4. So we need a 4 in this region, and these 2 4s do a ton of work. Place a 4 there. I think we have all the 4s. 3 in this region as well. With these 2 3s, we can place right there. And 3 in this region. Now with these 2 3s, we can place right there. What about 5s? Well, this has to be a 6 because that's the last digit in that region. In this region, we need a 5. And in this region, if you can follow that, that needs to be a 6. In this region, we need a 5 and a 6, and these 2 tell us the order. In this region, we also need a 5 and a 6, and these 2 will tell us the order. And then that resolves the puzzle. Very nice. Very beautiful execution of such a weird rule set. You need 4 that are only in one region and 2 that are in 2 regions at once. That seems to be true. I would counter that with saying that you would probably need an even number of shared digits across regions, but I'm not sure if I should argue with the setter of the puzzle. Because there might be some reason why you need to share multiple different digits. But I feel like you could set it up in a way that you're allowed to share 4 of one digit and have 6 of one digit only in certain cells. Only in single regions, I mean. My brain. 4 shit. Then you'll end up filling 10 regions with them. Oh. Hmm. That's true. Yeah, it would need to be an even number, and there's not enough regions for you to share a digit 4 times because you would need 4 times 2 regions. That's really cool. That's a really cool proof. All right, moving on. We did 2 puzzles there: the proof and the and the puzzle itself. Let's change the OBS back to the default, and let's go ahead and solve The Joy of Coloring by Rom Planer. And this is from the killer Sudoku Joy of Puzzles video. All right, so in this case we have 11. We'll always probably start up here, I'm guessing, with these killer ones because we specified box 1. So we have 11. So the leftovers are 10 because all the digits 1 through 6 add to 21. So 10 we can only get in one way, 4 and 6. So therefore the 6 can only be done in 1 and 5 because we don't have a 4 anymore, and the 5 can only be done in a 2 and 3. So this 5 is 2 and 3, so this 5 will be 1 and 4. And the 4 tells us that this is the 1, and this is the 4. This 7 can't have a 2, 5, or a 1, 6 because of this, so it has to be a 3, 4, and this 4 tells us the order. What about that 7? That 7's a little bit more elusive. This 7 can't be a 3, 4. We could probably color these. So if we color this one, let's say this is like 2, 5, right? Then this one can't be 2, 5. So we could color it a different color. And then it would be 1, 6, for example. We don't know what the actual contents are, but we can color them. And similarly, if this was, well, actually, we don't know that for sure. Because if this was like 1, 6, right, then this could, if this was like 6 and 1, for example, then this could be 1 and 6. So it could be yellow as well. But we do know that this one is not red, because if this was 1, 6 and this was 1, 6, then this would have no value. I did yellow, but I meant to do red. But it can't be yellow or red, so it needs to be a different color. Let's say green, or maybe blue, because green is a little bit less contrast with yellow. This one can't be blue, but it could be either yellow or red. This one can't be red, because this cell couldn't be the same as that, but it could be yellow. So this is either yellow or blue, and this is either yellow or red. But only one of these pages could be yellow, because if they were both yellow, then we would have 3 yellow digits in column 4. We might have to color individual cells. Maybe not. I guess we could look at these 2 cells, because those are 2 and 6, because we are missing 2 and 6 from the column. These have to be 2, 3, and 5. That can't be a 3. We can also color the cells that are not in the 7 cage. Because we have all, yeah, okay, so we do have 6 digits colored, so we could color these individually, but is it worth it to color them individually? Can't really place any pairs very easily, so maybe it is worth it to color them individually. In that case, I'm going to use these 3 colors instead of the yellow, blue, and red. So I'm just going to get rid of the yellow for a second. I'll make that into green. So we'll make this a green and a dark green. This one a red and a dark red. and this one a blue and a dark blue. Or maybe we should do the light variants so that there's more contrast. That was probably smart. That would have been smart. So now this can't be dark blue. I guess dark blue is in one of these two cells. And then one of these red digits will be in one of these two cells. So then this green digit... Well, I guess one of these red digits has to go in here. Ah, that's it. So this is red. So this is either... Well, this is the red. So then this will have to be red because obviously that can't be red and these can't be red. That is not going to be the dark blue. So this will be the dark blue. And this will have the dark green and the light blue in there. So now these two are red, and they have to appear in this row. And they can't appear in any of these cells, so there has to be 2 digits in these cells, which add to 7. Well, 1 and 4 don't add to 7, and 3 and 1 don't add to 7, so that must be 3 and 4. So red is 3 and 4. Very beautiful. Good suggestion. Thank you, Super Rabbit. I thought it was player again, but no, it was Super Rabbit this time. So can do those. We can now place the 3 in this column, and this was because of that 4. I just blindly assumed Sven. Oh, now you've lost track. So we colored the individual cells, and then we found out that these 2 cells were not red. So these 3 cells, there had to be 2 red digits in these 3 cells, but there's also a blue digit in these 3 cells. But this can't be blue, so it has to be red. And since this is also red, that can't be red, so then we place the red there. Oh, glad you could help as well. So now we can place the dark green up here. This is light green and light blue. This will have to be the light green. And this will be the other red. I think I colored that wrong. Don't really need the red colors anymore. What am I doing? 3 and 4 I'm trying to put in. Row 3, column 6 is a 1. That's true, because where does 1 go in this box? Right there. So now either this or this is 1, 6. Well, either this or this is 1, I suppose. So either this or this is 6. So I guess 6 goes in one of those 2 cells, we can say. This is a 5 or a 6, because it can't be a 2. This is a 1, 5, 6. So this has to be 2, 1, 6. Use the roping. Has to be a 2, 5 down here, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that's 2, 5. Oh, maybe this is this roping? Because 2 of these digits have to add to 7. Is that useful? No. Not really. I guess we can fill in some more pencil marks. 2, 5, and 6 go in there. This is either 2, 5, or 1. Row 6, column 1, and row 6, column 5. Yes, that's true. Those do sum to 5, or sum to 7. So that means that this is either a 1 or a 5. And we know that 1 is in one of these 2 cells, right? Was that? Yeah. 1 is in one of these 2 cells. So therefore this can't be a 1. Because 1 is either light blue or dark green by this coloring. So therefore this is not 2, 5. This has to be 6 and 1. This has to be 6 and 1 as well. This has to be a 2 because of these 2 adding to 7, like we said. And the way we figured that out, I guess, would be these 2 add to 7, these 2 add to 7. The total of the row is 21. So these two also add to 7. If we were confused about that. 5 and 2 and 6, mindlessly filling in these filled in pencil marks. Very nice. We can probably remove the coloring now. This is 2, 5. I like to remove coloring as soon as possible. I'm sorry. And we get a 2 here, and a 1, and a 6. Very nice. I really liked this step where these two cells had to go in here somewhere, but this one couldn't be here. That's really cute. I like that a lot. And then what was the other step that the other thing that broke it open was looking at this row, and somehow these two were placed as like 3 and 4, so then we knew that the remaining two cells added to 7. That's also really cute. I didn't point that out as much, but I really like that this cell just happened to be a 3 because of the column and row interaction, and then it just happened to add to 7 with that. I love when those things just sort of work out. It seems like there's like some kind of destiny to the puzzle or something. Very cute. All right, so the next puzzle we have is called Levity by, oh god, Isak Enhodge? Isak Enhodge? Is that how you pronounce that? I certainly hope not. Isak Enhodge? Isak Enhodge. That seems, yeah. Yeah, that's a difficult name. All right, Levity. We have a few puzzles by, let's just say E. E for now. We have a few puzzles by E. And yeah, this one they set without any guidance, which is exciting because it's great for people to try out the joy of puzzles and the guided setting, but it's really great for them to take a step beyond and see how actually easy it is to be able to set Sudokus without any guidance. All right, so this is normal Sudoku rules. Digits on marked diagonals do not repeat, so this is also a set of digits 1 to 6. Digits on thermometers increase strictly from the bulb to tip, so if this was a 3, for example, then this would have to be bigger than 3. So we have to go 4, 5, 6, but they don't always have to be in order, so we could have 1, 3, 4, 6, not 8. Like that. But we could never have like a 1, 2 that way, because they always increase from the bulb to the tip. Clues outside the grid indicate the sum of digits in the indicated direction, so these 5 cells sum to 7. They could be repeated, so we could have 1, 1, 2, 2, 1 or something. That would be 3. That would be 7. Okay, well, we sort of spoiled the beginning, but take a shot at it anyway. And these also sum to 8. These cells, if I can select the diagonal. All right, so we just sort of figured out that the minimum of these two cells is 1, 2. The minimum of these two cells is 1, 2. And the minimum of this cell is 1. 1, 2 plus 1, 2 is 3 plus 3 is 6. 7 comes to 7, so we have to do that. These will be very similar. Actually, I think they'll be exactly the same because this one can no longer be a 1. So the minimum we could have before this couldn't be a 1 was 7. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. But now this has to be 2. So therefore, 1, 2 adds to 3, adds to 3, 6, plus 2 is 8. So there we go. We filled in the little killers and we had no hardship. Little killers can be slightly annoying sometimes, so I'm glad we didn't have any hardship with this one. The reason I filled in 3s here was because I was giving it 1 degree of freedom. So we knew 7 was the lowest that it could be. So 8 would be 1 higher. So we could change one of the numbers from the digit that it had to be to one more. So we could change a 2 to a 3, for example, if we could have put a 1 here. That's why I filled it in with 1, 2, 3. Anyways, so now we can look at these thermometer cells because all of them actually, no, yes. There are so many cells. So many cells that actually, do we have all the 1s and 2s? I literally looked at these cells and thought, oh, look, there's no 1s and 2s in here. We've basically placed all the 1s and 2s in the grid now. So of course, all of the cells can't be 1 or 2. Duh. So now all the thermometers, I believe, are forced because we have to increase from the bulb to the tip, and we only have 4 numbers, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So every thermometer will go 3, 4, 5, 6, 3, 4, 5, 6, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that's because we don't have any 1s or 2s. 1s and 2s in columns. Oh, yeah, we don't have all the 1s and 2s. There are 2 1s, or there's 1 1 and 1 2 that's missing. Where does it go in this column? Well, it goes there, and the 2 will have to go here because there's no more 1s and 2s available in these rows and columns. And we could have still filled in the thermometers. I don't know why I got rid of them. Fourth puzzle, still waking up. You know how it is. On the diagonal, we can't have another 1, so that has to be a 2. This 2 has to be there. Or sorry, this 2 means that has to be a 1. We can fill in the rest of the 1s and 2s off the back of that. And then it's just Sudoku. This was very cute. Very, very, very cute. I loved it, actually. Okay, so we need a 5 and a 6 on this diagonal, and this 5 tells us the order. We need a 3 and 4 on this diagonal, and this 3 will tell us the order. We need a 5 and a 4 in this row. Well, we need a 4 in this box as well, so we can sort of fill that in. Then we need a 5 in this box, so that has to be a 5. This has to be a 3 because of the box, and this has to be a 6 because of the box. Very, very cute puzzle. We'll give that one a heart. Lovely. I really like that. Oh my word. Sometimes my brain, it just doesn't catch up. All right, now we have joy, but the J is backwards because for some odd reason, again, my brain accidentally put the J backwards when I was making the graphic for Joy of Puzzles. And you can see that, I think it's on the little intro segment where all the constraints come together. The J is backwards. And I have no idea how I stared at that for literally hours. Like, several hours. And didn't notice that the J was backwards. Yeah. I spent so long making that, like, the thing coming together and just stared at that J. I drew it in backwards. Oh, what a joke. Okay, so these 3 digits. Oh, this is by Palfly Kapling, by the way. Palfly is a wonderful setter. I think I've solved a few of his puzzles before. Maybe none on the stream. But I've definitely solved a couple Palfly puzzles. So these are 1, 2, 3 minimum, so this has to be a 6. Those cells can't be 6. These cells can't be 6, so that has to be the 6 in the box. Now we can look at this cell and notice that it couldn't be a 3 because that would mean that this would be 1, 2, and that would place 2 3s in that row. I suppose maybe the easier thing to do would be to label this as 4, 5, and then say there is a 4 or 5 in here. So then one of these 2 cells will be 4 or 5, so this has to be at least a 5 or a 6. and the maximum digit that we could put with the 4 or 5 would be a 1 or 2. So this would have to be a 4 or 5 because we can't put two 4 or 5s in here. And we would need to put a 1 or 2 with the 4 or 5. If we put 3, 4, that would be 7. That would be too much. So there needs to be a 3 in one of these two cells in that row. I'll probably get rid of the 4 or 5 here. And this has to be a 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's true, Toyer, but in this case we have these 6, 1, 2, 3 arrows because in the Joy of Puzzles video I said, let's start with something easy. A 3-cell arrow, which can't have any repeats on it, has to be a 1, 2, 3 adding to 6. So let's all start with that, and then we have sort of a basis for adding logical deductions in. That's why we've seen a lot of those today. In general, I could say that, yeah, there might be a little bit more variety, but that's why today we've seen a lot. This cell can't be a 6, and the minimum of these 3 cells with a single repeated 1 would be 4. So this has to be 4 or 5. Yeah, true. I guess it's kind of hard to draw many different arrow Sudokus in a 6x6 because of that reason. Let's see here. Oh, that's interesting. Let's look at this cell. If this cell was a 5, where does 5 go in this box? Well, 5 would have to go in these two cells. And 5 does not equal 5 plus another digit. So this actually does have to be a 6. That's beautiful. That's really nice. All right, so what else? What else can we find? Well, there's no 6 there because of this 6, and there's no 6 in those two cells because 6 plus anything will be definitely greater than 4 or 5. So that will have to be a 6. There's a 6 in one of those two. There's no 6 here or here, and there's no 6 here because, again, 6 plus something does not equal something less than 6. So we can fill in all the 6s. 6s accomplished. This has to be 3, 4, or 5 because these are minimum 1 and 2. What else do we know? If this arrow had as much as a 4 on it, then 4 plus 2 1s would be 6. That's too much. So this has to have only 1, 2, and 3 on it. If this was a 3, the minimum these could be is 3, which would add to 6. So neither of these two cells could be 3 because these two cells, either this 2-cell combination or this 2-cell combination, is minimum 3. We could have 3 double 1 though, adding to 5. But this creates a 1, 2, 3 triple, which makes... Stop zooming out. I keep accidentally hitting the scroll wheel and it keeps zooming out. Sorry about that. This creates a 1, 2, 3 triple, which actually the 3 is placed in, which means we do have to have double 1, which means this is a 5, which means the 4, 5 pair is resolved, and we can fill in some other things because this double 1 gives us lots of information. There's no 1s in here, so there definitely can't be a 5, so this is 2, 4, making that a 5. These are not 2s. This can't be a 3 anymore, so this has to have probably a 3 on it. I don't know why I was thinking it did have a 3 on it. Not true at all. These have to be the same as these, so this is a 1, 3 pair, which means this is not a 1 or 3, 2, 4, or 5. Is the stream lagging? It says that there is an error. Let me know, please, if the stream is not working. It seems all fine on my end, except for YouTube is complaining. Yes, it is lagging? Or it's fine now? Okay, well, we'll keep an eye on it. So this can't be a 5, so then we get a 2, 4 pair in the column, which gives us a 5 here. So this is either a 1 or a 3, which gives us another 1, 3 pair. This is very cute, which means this is 2, 4 pair as well, which gives us another 1, 3, which is resolved by this 1, which is going to resolve all these 1, 3s. Very nice. This is adding to 5, so it has to have a 4, which will resolve all the 2 4s. That will place the 2 here. Could have put another 2 4 there. It did something weird. Okay, it's all good now? Okay, good. Sorry, Plank Time. I think I ignored your message, but you said that this has to be a 1. Ah, because of this, right. And this has to be a 5 for the similar reason that these have to find a home in this box. That would have been maybe a good... Maybe that was the intended deduction, but I really like the 1, 3 pairs and the 2, 4 pairs, and I like that. Hello, Taco-san. Now these 3 digits have to find a home down here, so that's 2 and 3, and this 3 gives us, this is a 2 and this is a 3. This 2 looks up and reveals the 2 in here, and this has to be a 4. Very nice. Very nice puzzle. Pure loy. A stupid mistake. Alright. Oh, I think there was a bit of that was cut off, but it just said rules. Alright, we are moving on to... Oh no, the puzzle name and the author name is impossible to pronounce. Mashiguin? By Isaac Anoj. M by E. There we go. Thank you. Thank you, Plank Time. I had no idea how to pronounce that, but it's easy. M by E. All right, let's get started. This is from the Joy Puzzles as well. So we can see our classic 3-cell arrow adding to 6. 1, 2, and 3 go in here. This is a 6. 6 can't go in those 2 cells, or those 3 cells because this 6, and those 2 cells cannot be 6 because they're on the arrow. So that has to be a 6. It does... Is that a Q? Is that actually a Q? It is, isn't it? Now I forget what letters look like. Ah. This is breaking my brain. Think it's a G? I'm not sure. Let me copy paste it into the search bar. It's a G. It's a G. We have confirmation. We have G on the ground. Why is it so hard to tell? Oh, it literally says there. It does say in the browser tab, literally right in front of my face. Thank you, no. Okay, where does 6 go in this box? Well, 6 can't go on an arrow, so that's a 6. These can't be 6s. And again, 6 can't go on an arrow, so that's a 6. This 6 will have a 4, 5 on it, because 6 is always made of 1 or 5 or 2 or 4, unless it's double 3, I guess. So therefore, this 4, 5 and the 4, 5 in here come together and make a virtual pair, which means this has to be 1, 2, or 3. Which does something, maybe. So these are 4 different cells that sum to 2 different numbers. So the minimum that these two cells could add up to, because of these 4 cells being a minimum of 1, 2, 3, 4, is 10. But if this was a 4, this couldn't be a 6. So we couldn't add these 2 to 10 if this was a 4. So it has to be double 5, because that's the only way we can get up to a minimum of 10, which is the biggest that we can do, actually. So then 5 can't go here, so that is a 5. That's a 1. These can't be 1s. This has to be a 2, 3. Adding up to 5. This has to be a 1, 4 adding up to 5. And now this has to be a 1, 4. This is not going to be two cells adding to 1, so that's a 4, that's a 1. This has to be a 1 and a 3 adding up to 4. That gives us a 2. This is the only place 1 can go in this row. Means that we get a 4 and a 1 from this one. And what else? What else can we do? It was a flurry of activity. 4 and 5 go up here because they have to go somewhere in this box. This 4 gives us a 5 and a 4. Therefore, 4. 2, 3, 6 has to go down here. We can remove some options from these three. Nice little, like, the same things. I hope that keeps happening, but actually, no, it won't. Ruined. So we could color these if we want to. Those are all the same. These are the same. The red goes in one of those two cells. Not sure how helpful that was. This is, I guess it did make me see that this is a 4. This is 2, 3, 5. This has to be 2, 3, 4, and the 4 gives us, that is a 2, 3. This is red. I was going to say this can't be colored, so then this has to be red, which makes that a 5. So that was kind of coloring, but I guess you could kind of see that from this sort of arrangement anyway. In this row, we're going to need a 5 and a 6, and this 5 will tell us that this is the 5. That's 3 and 6 and 2 and 2, and we can fill in the blues with 2s and the 3s with red, with whatever, you know what I'm saying. And the 1 gives us this. Done. That was very nice. Now chat's not talking, so I'm worried that the stream is actually down. Even though YouTube is not giving you any errors. That was very nice. I think we were just way too fast for chat to keep up. But that was a really nice puzzle. It flowed very, very smoothly. I think this is E's second puzzle, so maybe he's got some experience under his belt. All right, let's keep rolling. We have to get through another 8 puzzles, it looks like. All right, so we have Super Rabbit's Joya Puzzles Error Creation. Again, we're going to have 1, 2, 3 in this row, and 6 because these are minimums. Therefore, where does 6 go in this row? It has to go here because it can't go in those two cells. I kind of like this deduction a little bit more than the box deduction, even though I did the box deduction in my puzzle. So these are 4 and 5. So this digit couldn't possibly go here because then we'd have 3 at most adding up to 4 plus 5. So this has to be 4 or 5. This has to be a 1, 2, or 3 with a 4 or 5 adding up to 4 or 5. So it's going to have to be 1 and 4 adding up to 5. That was a lot of words. Let me know if I need to restate that. All right, so that's a really nice start. We know that this could never be 5 because if it's a 2, 3, then this cell has no value, and if it's a 1, 4, that's a 1, so that wouldn't work. So this will have to be 4 or 6. No, it can't be a 4. Excuse me. I'll take a drink of water. Going too fast. The carbon dioxide made me burp. This can't be a 4 because then this would have to be 1, 3. So this has to be a 6, making this a 2, 4 because it can't be a 1, 5. Making this a 3 and a 2. And what now? Well, these two digits, or these two cells, are the same, and those two cells go down here somewhere. Well, I don't think there's 6, because there's a 6 right next to them. So they're going to have to be 5. So those are 5s, which means this cannot be 5 or 6, which means it is 3 or 2, because these minimum are 1, 2, so they're 1, 2, or 3. And they definitely have a 1, because they're either 1, 2, or 1, 3 for 3 or 4. Now what? Well, we know these two cells have to be 5 and 6 because they're missing from the row and the column, and that can't be a 5. So this has to be a 6 and a 5. What else? What else can we do here? This column? Eh, not great. This row? 2 in this row, maybe? 2 goes in one of those 2 cells. Suppose there is definitely a 3 in one of these 3 cells. Hello, Egbert. Oh, and hello, Wessel. And hello, M. Nasty. Oh, 4 in box 2 is in one of these 2 cells, so then we can pencil mark that. So then this has to be a 2. This has to be a 4. That can't be a 2. Where does 2 go in this box? Well, it can't go in those 3 cells, so it has to go here. Makes that a 1, that a 3. This one gives us a 4 and a 1. I said that as if it was going to continue. In this column, we need a 1. That can't be the 1, so that has to be a 1. Now, the last digit in this column is a 4, so that's a 4. Last digit in this box is a 3. That gives us a 2 down here and a 3. The last digit in this column is a 4. And now we need 2 and 6. This 6 gives us the order. 2 in this box, these 2 cells give us that. This cell will give us the 3 in this box. Now this will need to be 1 and 4, which is not resolved, unfortunately. Unfortunately. 5 and 6 go in this row, though, and this 6 gives us the order. We could have done that earlier, actually. Surprisingly. This 5 gives us the 4 down here, which gives us a 1, which gives us a 5 and a 4. Now we can do 1 and 3, and done. Very, very cute puzzle. See, there's lots of variation which you can do in 6x6 with arrows. Yeah, I definitely agree with David. Very enjoyable. All right, let's keep moving. Ooh, lots of crossing arrows in this one. Did I put the wrong name as the author for this one? Because that does not look familiar. Yes, I think this is Isaiah's, and he would like to be named Izamuk. I will change that in the description there. All right. So apparently this puzzle is crap, so don't expect much. Just kidding. Isaiah, this is going to be great. So normal Sudoku rules apply. Arrows sum to the digit in their circle, attached circle, and I'm guessing that it's not going to do anything crazy like this arrow belongs to this circle, not that circle. So the minimum of these 3 cells is 1, 2, 3, adding to 6. Therefore, well, I think there's a lot of arrows, so we should probably look for where 6 can go. 6 cannot go on any arrow that is more than 1 cell. So 6 can't go in any of these cells. Does that tell us anything? Well, these 2 will have to have a 6, so that can't be a 6. Other than that, I mean, these 6s are actually aligning. So there's 6s in here, because there can't be 6s on the arrow or in the same row as a 6. And there can't be a 6 in the arrow, so there's 6s in here, 6s in here. So then where does 6 go in this box? Well, if I put a 6 there, then we're going to have no 6 up here. Alternatively, we could say that these are the 2 6s that are in columns 5 and 6. So there must be a 6 in one of these 2 cells, and it must go there. Those can't be 6s, that can't be a 6, so there's a 6 in one of those 2 cells. In this box, there's a 6 in one of those 2 cells, so we have roughly where the 6s go. Roughly. This 6 in this row needs to be accompanied by 4 and 5. So this digit can't be a 6, but it has a 4 or 5 on its arrow, so it must be 5. 4 and 1. This will have to be a 2 and a 3 to finish off that box. We can get rid of those corner marks. Always keep clean marks. What's wrong? I think it's good so far. What do you guys think? I think this puzzle is bopping. So this is either a 5 or a 3. Can't be a 4 or a 6. And the minimum of these two is 1 and 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, I suppose. Now what? Well, I guess these need to be 4, 5, and 6. Oh, and that can't be 5 or 6. Or, yeah, that can't be 5 or 6. I don't know why I hesitated there. So that has to be a 4, which means that this has to be 5 or 6, and this has to be 1 or 2. This has to be 1, 2, or 3 because of the column. Remove those corner marks. Always clean up your marks. What else can we say? I think there's quite a few. Oh, this one. We can definitely say something about this one. This one cannot be a 2 because this would be double 1. So that has to be a 3. I don't even know how I missed that little arrow there. That'll have to be a 5, which means that this can't be a 1 because that can't be a 4. This has to be a 1, 2 at the bottom. This being 3 means these are 1 and 2 as well. So then we have the 1s and 2s in these rows. So is that giving us anything else? Hi, Wisteria. How's it going? Not giving us anything else. Well, if this was a 5, then that would have to be a 6. And that cell would have no value. So I don't think this is a 5. I think this could be a 5. Yeah, I don't really see anything wrong with that. So what about that cell? Or that cell? Both of those are interesting to me. This cell may be a slightly more because this can repeat. So if this added to 5, we would need a 3 or 4 in here. And if this added to 6, we would need a 4 or 5 in here. But if this added to 6 and this was a 5, then those would be 5 and 6 looking at that cell. So that can never be 5. Ooh. Yes, you... Taco-san. That's the person who finished Word Siege. What a legend. So where does 5 go in box 6? Right in one of these two cells, which gives us a 6 here. I love when... I really like... And I'm being serious here. I really, really love when something like this sort of bounces back and resolves the pair. I love that. So don't feel bad. This is like really cool. Okay, so now this can't be 5, 1. So it's going to have to be 4, 2. Nice. This adds to 6, so we can fill in the 6. 5 and 6 go in. This will have to either be a 3 or a 4. This is going to be a 5 or a 4, and there's a 4 in the row. So that is a 5, that's a 4, that's a 3, that's not a 5, that's a 5. This has to be a 3 because that's the last digit in the box. We can clean up some marks here. This will have to add to 5, so 1, 3 would mean 2 and 4 going to one of those two, or one of that cell. One of that cell. We need a 1 and 3 in this column, and this cell cannot be a 1, so it must be a 3. That must be a 1. This must be a 2. 4, 2, 3 go in. This box needs a 1, and we need a 1 in this row. We need a 2 in this row. 3 and 4 go in, and bam, we're done. Very nice. I think that puzzle was great. I don't know what you are talking about, Isaac. Isaac. I think it's the is a mook that made me think Isaac. Yeah, I think that was a good puzzle. All right. Yeah, I think publishing a 6x6 is a little bit too much effort. Might take a small break after this one, but we'll do one more. All right. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, we should probably say standard killer cage rule. Standard killer cage rules apply. Digits don't repeat in cages, and sum to the top left corner clue if 1 is given. So these 6 cells must be the digits 1 through 6. Kind of like an extra region. These two sum to 10. So the leftover digits in this box, because of the secret, all 6 digits in a Sudoku add to 21. So these 2 cells add to 11, which means they have to be 5 and 6. So one of this is going to be 1, 4, and one of this is going to be 2, 3. A 6 in 3 cells has to be 1, 2, and 3. We know that from the arrows. Whatever this page is, it's going to be, I don't like blue with the blue. It's going to be different from these cells, and that is going to be different from these 2 cells. But since there's only 2 combinations of 5, we need to make only 2 combinations of 5. So there's only actually 2 colors. So this is red as well. And if we look at this one, and we look up here, well, that's a 1, 2, 3, 4 triple, which means we can fill in 5 and 6 here. But more importantly, where does the 4 go in this? Did I say triple? Quadruple. The 4 goes down here. So 1 and 4 sum to 5. So this cannot have a 1. That must be a 1. And now we know yellow is 1. So that's a 1. That's 4. This is a 2, 3. This is a 2, 3. And we can dispose of our colors. Dispose of them. That was very, very, makes me think of this show we've been watching, me and my fiance, called Animal Airport. And every time they say they're going to put down an animal, which they don't say that often, but sometimes they threaten it. They don't put down animals very often in the show. But every time they do, they say, we don't want to destroy the animal. And it makes us feel so bad every time, because, like, destroy is such a strong word. Yeah, I think they do it for the effect, but it might be a British thing. If it's a British thing, please let me know, because that would be useful to know. 2 and 3 in row 5. Ooh, that's cute. These 2 and 3 have to go here, and this adds to 9, so this has to be a 6 and a 3. Oh god. I'm sorry. What about 5 and 6? Well, 6 in this page has to go in one of these 3 cells. So then if 6 is in one of these 3 cells, where does 6 go in this box? Right here. Because it can't go there. So that has to be a 5, which means that's a 6. Again, this like nice little like back and forth where this gives us this, which gives us this, which then gives us that, is like so cute to me. I love when the back and forth does cool things. Just such a treat. Where does 5 go in this cage? Right there. So then 5 in this box has to go right there because of these 2 5s in that one. We almost have all the 5s. That's a 5 because of these 2. This has to be a 1, 4 as well. Has to be a 1, 4 as well. Has to be 2, 3, 6. We can place the 6. That's also a 2, 3. Where does 3 go in this cage? Right there. So that resolves a bunch of these 2, 3 pairs. Oh, shout out to Isaiah and Russian name for that deduction. Because they spotted it before me, but I wasn't looking at chat, so it goes to me. So then in this row, we need to place a 3, which goes there, which then places the 2 there. I suppose we could do that way, or we could have used this 3. Any way you like, really. This needs a 1 and a 4, and this can't be a 4, so that needs to be a 1. That resolves a bunch of these 1, 4 pairs. We could have done that in a million ways, but we did it in that way. And we're done. As well, very nice puzzle. I really liked the use of this extra region. Wasn't using geometry so much, but I'm sure it could have used geometry, like these 2 cells have to go in there, sort of thing. That cell has to go there. So it could have used geometry. I just didn't use very many geometric deductions with it. It sort of baked itself into the puzzle. instead, which is also kind of cute because you don't have to use such, oh, I'm saying such advanced knowledge, like these cells have to find a place in this row. Not really advanced knowledge, but you know what I mean. All right, so now we have a slightly different puzzle, which is by Mark Johnston, and it is an anniversary puzzle. Oh, see you later, Nell. Be back in a bit. Sweet, I'll see you later. Oh, I said I was going to take a break after that one. I'm excited for the anniversary puzzle. Maybe we'll do the anniversary puzzle and then I'll take a short break. Just a little one. All right, so let's look at this anniversary puzzle. And I believe that it was on the 26th of, was last month? March? May? May. I'm so terrible with things like months. I did my undergraduate in astrophysics, and I still can't tell you what the order of the planets is. Because I'm just not good at remembering those things. Things like the order of months, or the order of the planets, or just arbitrary names in order is just so hard for me. It's a wonder that I can count to 5. All right, so let's look at this anniversary puzzle for Rebecca. And I was saying I believe their anniversary is on the 26th of March. Yes, March. March is the 5th month. Because May is 3 letters, and it's the 3rd month, right? Right? I'm gonna get so much flack for this. All right, so pages sum to the given clue. So these two cells sum to 5, these two cells sum to 5. The numbers outside the grid give the sum of the digits that they point at. So these 6 cells sum to, or 5 cells. Can't count to 6. Oh no. These 5 cells add to 26. These 4 cells add to 5. Okay, let's look at these 4 cells first. These 2 cells are a minimum of 1 and 2, and these 2 cells minimums are 1 and 1. 2 plus 3 is 5, so therefore that has to be what we do. What else? What else can we see from here? Well, these 5 cells adding to 26. Is that interesting? I mean, this is maximum 5. This is maximum 4, 6, 6 and 5. That's 12, 16, 26. Okay. So, and the reason why these 2 are maximum 5 is because there's a 6 in the box. This is maximum 4 because the 5 cage, and obviously there's a 5 down here as well. But I guess this could be 6, 5 if there wasn't a 4, or if there wasn't a 5 cage here. Words. So this has to be 10 plus 6 plus another 10. Which then tells us that this is a 1 because this is a 5 cage, which fills in this 1 and 2. This one tells us this 5 cage is 2, 3, but there's a 2 here, so that has to be filled in like that. And now we've created a classic Sudoku. Very nice. This 5 places a 5 here, because there needs to be a 5 in this row. What did we do? What did we do? Did I put the clues in wrong? I remade the puzzle. Maybe I put the clues in wrong. I'm just gonna go find the original link. One second. Yeah, I didn't see the mistake either. I think I probably put the numbers in wrong. I remade the link with the rules. Well, I'll take this moment to ask you to like the stream, because clearly it's going so well. Okay, let's see here. I think I put in the Patreon supporters. Original one. Happy anniversary. Oh, the 5 is in the wrong place. Ah. Okay. We'll take a small break. I'll fix the puzzle and we'll come back. I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh, what the heck? Why did it default to that? Okay. Um, well, it's fitting that I was just talking about how absurdly stupid I can be sometimes, and then we ended up with that. All right, so I filled in what we knew already. while we were on the break. And what we were going to say was that this 5 needs to go, or that needs to be a 5 in this row, which therefore must go here because of this 5, not here. I don't know how I messed that up. I've done that with my own puzzles several times before when just copying them over from one link to another. So I always double check my own work. But for some reason, didn't double check this one. This 6 places a 6 in this column. I really like the setup of these givens. It seems like they're in very nice places, and I somehow didn't notice that they were also themed on the 526. Another incredible lapse in judgment. So this 6 doesn't go there, so it must go here. There needs to be a 3 in this box. This needs to be a 2 and a 4, which means this 2 gives us a 2 and a 4. Both of these 4s tell us that that's not a 4, so that has to be a 4. We need a 3 in this. We don't need that many 3s in the box, but we need a 3 in the box, which must go there. Up here we need a 2 and a 5. It's surprisingly not resolved. I guess in this column we need a 2, which then does resolve the 2 and the 5. In this column we need a 4 and a 1. Goes in like that. In this column we need a 6 and a 3. The 3 goes in over here, and the 5 goes in, and done. Make that new link with the solution. Put that in the description instead of the previous one, which had an error. All right. And we'll move on to Emma, or Ema. I'm not sure. This is their first attempt at a Sudoku, and the Mark was also the first Sudoku that he created, which is very cool. Very cool to see these people trying out Sudoku for the first time. Well, trying out setting Sudoku for the first time. I love it. And we're going to see this similar double cage in the top left-hand corner. And same rules, digits cannot repeat in cages, and digits sum to the number in the top left corner if given. So we have 2 8 cages, which sum to 16, and the digits in a box in a 6x6 Sudoku sum to 21. 21 minus 16 is 5, so these 2 cells sum to 5, which means we don't know what they are. They're 1, 2, 3, or 4. But we know that 8 has to be made up of 2, 6, and 3, 5. Therefore, what are the leftover digits? 1 and 4. We could have done that in a different way. That would have been smarter. There needs to be all the digits in this cage because there are 6 cells in the cage and digits cannot repeat in cages. And these 5 cells cannot be 6, so that must be a 6. So these 2 cells cannot be 6s. Therefore, these 2 cells cannot be 2s because they can't have 6s with them. We could color these 2 as the same because there's only 2 possibilities for 8 cages in a 6x6 Sudoku. I suppose we have a virtual 1-4 pair here because this has to be 1-5 or 2-4. It has either a 1 or a 4 in it. So this has to be 2, 5, 6, or 3. It can't be 1 or 4 because those are where the 1 and 4 go in that row. What else do we know? Well, we know 17, 13 in 4 cells needs a 1. Right? Yeah, it needs a 1. Could make it with either 1, 3, 4, 5, or 1, 2, 6. No, wait. 9 plus 4, yeah, that would work. So we need a 1 and a 4 in here for sure. And then we need 2 digits with sum to 8. Oh, 8. 8's a familiar number. We know 8 from these, so maybe we do need to color these. How do I keep reaching for blue? Let's go with a different color. So I guess there needs to be 2 cells up here which sum to 8, which are red. So the red digits can't go in here. Oh, the red digits can't go in there, which means the red digits can't be 6. Duh. Big duh. So, sorry. The red digits can't be 6, which means that the red digits have to be 3, 5. This has to be a 6, 2. Very, very beautiful. I don't know what is going on with me with typing those two numbers in. So there needs to be a 3 and a 5 in there, which means this cannot be 3 or 5, which means it must be 2, which gets rid of the 2, 4 option, giving us a 1, 5, and a 4, and a 3, allowing us to fill in those cells. What else does that mean? Well, that means that in these cells we need a 1 and a 4, and the 1 cannot go in that cell, so that needs to be a 4. This is a 1, 3, and 5. Places a 1 down here. This has to be a 2, 4, 2, 4, 6. That has to be a 4 because that can't be 2 or 6. Now 4 can only find one place in this 13 cage. These sum to 6, so these need to sum to 11, which means they must be 5 and 6. We know the order based on this 6. This 5 gives us the 1 and the 5. This 1, 5 gives us the 3 and a 1 and a 5. We need a 1 in one of those two cells, and either a 3 or a 5. These two cells need to be 1 and 3, though, so that cannot be a 1. That's a 1, that's a 3, that's a 1, that's a 5, because that sums to 13. That's a 3, that's a 5. Now we need a 2 here. We need a 4 in this box, and these 4s place it there, which then places the 2 here, 6 here, the 2 here, 6 over here, 3 there. Done. Oh, not done. This is a 3. And there we go. We can make a new link with the solution. Why is that such a long link? I don't know, but I'm not going to use that. Very nice puzzle from Emma. First puzzle that they made. Very beautiful with this 6 interacting with this. That's a nice piece of geometry. I really liked... I don't know why this took me so long to realize that this couldn't be a 6, but I really like that this 6 is next to this cage. It's great for telegraphing. This 6 does a lot of work. It probably limited this cage to being the 3-5 variant of 13. I just didn't see it. And probably a 17 cage needs a 6 in it. Let's see. 2, 3, 4, 5 sums to 14. So yeah, I would definitely need a 6 in it, right? All right. Yeah, of course. That is surprisingly low, 14. Huh. Anyways, I guess 4 more, yeah. Anyways, so let's move on to another puzzle by Sack and Hodge called Circulate. Slightly easier to pronounce than the name or the previous title. This is another Joy of Puzzles, and I think this is E's first puzzle that he made. So let's look at this. So we have same rules, digits do not repeat in cages and must sum to the indicated total. We have these two 9 cages, which means those two sum to 18. We need 21 in the entire box, so therefore the last 2 remaining digits have to sum to 3. I was going to say 2 for some unknown reason. And there's a given 1, which allows us to place the 2 and the 1. So then in this 6th cage, we need a 1 and a 2, which has to go there, and the 4 or 5 goes there, but there's already a 5 down here. So we can fill in 4 and 2, not 1. This 4 does not give us the order of these 9 cages, but we can figure out that this is either a 2 or a 4 because there needs to be all but 1 digit in this cage. from the digits 1 to 6, and these 2 and 4 see all but that cell. So this has to be either a 2 or 4, and either a 2 or 4 is missing. So therefore there's a 5 in here. We have every other digit other than the 2 and 4 that is missing. Talking fast. So this 5 means that there's no 5 in any of those cells. There means to be a 5 in one of those two cells. No 2 in these two cells, or that one, or in the 9 cage. So there needs to be a 2 in one of those two cells. 12 in 4 cells needs a 1 and a 2. That's one of my favorite cages because it literally says 1, 2, and there needs to be a 1 and a 2. So there's no 1, 2 there, or there's no 2 there. Brain. There's no 1 in these two cells. So there needs to be a 1 on this side, which means that the 1 in this 5-cell cage can't go in here. So it must go in here, and that can't be a 1. I've said this multiple times, but I like when this thing knocks back to here, which then resolves the thing that made it true. I love that. 1 can't go in a 9 cage, so there's no 1 in these cells in this box. So the 1 is in here, and actually didn't even notice that 1. Given digits are invisible sometimes. Therefore, this is a 1, that's a 2, that's not a 1, that is a 1. The 2 cells left over in the 12 cage have to sum to 9, so they're either 3, 6, or 4, 5. And we can probably color our 9 cages. Again, 9 is a familiar total, so if we color this one red and this one yellow, because there's only 2 variants of 9 in a 6x6 Sudoku, this one can't be the same as red, because then we'd have 3 red digits in column 1. So these 2 digits sum to 9, these 2 digits sum to 9, and again, this couldn't be yellow, because then we'd have 3 yellow digits in this row. So these are red. What else do we know? We also know that these 2 digits are red because 1 plus 2 plus 9 plus 9 is 21. So I guess we could color these further, because those 2 are the same and these 2 are the same. Not sure if that helps. I mean, actually, this digit sees this entire box, or this entire cage. So this digit has to be 1 in a 9 cage, and 2, either a 2 or 4. So it must be a 4. This 2 cannot go in a 9 cage, and also this sees a 2. So this has to be a 4, 5. This has to be 5s. These have to be 3, 6s. That 4 sees this one, so that's a 5. That's a 4. That's a 5 because this one sees that. That can't be a 5 because this one. That's a 5. And what else does that give us? Yeah, I love when one random cell sees like everything in a cage. Those are great. These are 3 and 6. I guess we could have figured that those sum to 9 as well. And these also sum to 9 as well. These don't sum to 9. But where does 1 go in this box? Right there. This has to be a 3, 6, and these do sum to 9. And we could color more, but no. We might. What else do we know? These 2 have to be from 2 and 4. This has to be a 3, 6 as well. This has to be a 3, 6 as well, because of the column and the box. This has to be a 3, 6 as well. And now these sum to 9. 9 plus 6 is 15. 15 plus 6 is 21. Therefore, this must be a 6. That's a 3, so we didn't have to color. Resolves all of these 3 6s. That's a 2, 3. That's a 4. 2, 3, 2, 4. All right, that was sick. That was a great puzzle. Very nice. Very good for the first puzzle that they've ever made. And the other 2 puzzles were a delight as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing more of Sack and Hodge, but I am also looking forward to knowing how on earth to pronounce that name. Because I do not know. All right, there's another puzzle by Polando here. Another Joy of Puzzles puzzle by Polando, or one inspired by it. Looks a little bit different than the other Joy of Puzzles puzzles. So Same thing, killer Sudoku rules apply. These sum to the clue given in the top left corner. So we have a bunch of 5s, 7s, 8s, 6s. 5 plus 6 is 11. So the leftover cells have to sum to 10 in this row, which means they have to be a 4 and a 6, which means that this cannot be the 1-4 variant of 5, so it has to be the 2-3 variant, and this cannot be the 2-4 variant, it has to be the 1-5 variant. This does not resolve quite as nicely. This is a 1-5. No. 1-4. I was thinking about this one while I was filling in this one. Never do that. And this has to be a 2-4, and this one has to be 1-4 because it sees that cell. If it was 2-3, then this cell would have no value. This has to be 2-4 this for the exact same reason. If it was 1-5, then it would see this cell, and that cell would have no value. So now we can look at the 7 cage and say that one does not have a 4 for sure, because the 4s in this box and in this box are allocated to those cells. So this cannot be 3-4. Could be 2-5, but it'd have to be in this order. And it could be 6-1, but it'd have to be in this order. Very cute. Feels like there's something else cute going on, but I can't quite put my finger on it. If this was a 2-4, then this would be double 6. That's the cute thing that's going on. If this was 2-4, this wouldn't be a 4, and this wouldn't be a 2, and we have 2 6s in the column. So this has to be a 1-5. Is that similar over here? If that's a 1-4, no, it's not similar. Weird. Feels weird. So this is 3, 2, 6, 4, and 6. That can't be a 4. Definitely a 3 in here. What else can we figure out from that? Well, this is either 4, 2, or 3, because there's no 1 up here. Well, there's 1 in the box. So this is 1, 2, 3. Put these 8 cages. Or what about this? Well, there needs to be a 3 in one of these 2 cells. What does that tell us? Not sure. Not sure what that tells us. What about... Let's just fill in the options for the 8 cages. So there can be 2 6s or 3 5s. 2 6 or 3 5. So there's a virtual 2-3 pair here. It means that these cells cannot be 2 or 3. So they have to be from 1, 4, 5, 6. This can't be 1 or 4. So what does that tell us about? Well, that's a virtual 5-6 pair, because 7 either has a 5 or a 6, and there's a 5, 6 here. So this cell cannot be 5 or 6. Oh, this cell can't be a 3. Ah, we were just saying there's a 3 in one of these 2 cells, so that has to be a 3. Spotted by plank time at the exact same time. This is 1, 4, and 5 left in the column. So there's a 3 in one of these 2 cells, and there's also a 3 in one of these 2 cells. Is there definitely 2 3s in here? No, because that could just be a 3. I mean, for uniqueness, this couldn't be a 2 6, but we're not going to use uniqueness. Oh, this is also a 5-6 virtual pair, because there's a 5 or 6 in here. and there's a 5 or 6 here. So this can't be 5 or 6. Or we could also just ask, where does 1 and 4 go in this column? So then we get, where do the 1s go in these 2 rows? Well, there's 1, 1 there, and there's 1, 1 here. So these cannot be 1s. This can't be a 4 now, so this is a 2, 3 pair. This is a 4, 5 pair, giving us a 1 here. That's a 5. That's a 4. That's a 5. Finally getting some digits in. Very, very cool puzzle. Very weird puzzle. Oh, this can't be a 2. So that needs to be a 6. I think... Is that also what Playing Time was saying? I'm not sure. So that can't be 2. That needs to be 3 and 2. So this being 2, 6 actually wouldn't be a problem because this was already resolved. Oh yeah, it was across boxes. What? That's not a deadly pattern. What am I talking about? Talking about nonsense. Well, this already has a 6 in the box, so that can't be a 6 in the row. That's a 6, that's a 3. Now what? These 2 cells. There needs to be a 6 in one of them, so that has to be a 6. That has to be a 2. That has to be a 3. That has to be a 2. So this is not 2, 6 after all. This has... What's wrong with me? This has to be a 3, 5, which makes that the 6. Makes that the 2. Makes that the 5. That the 3. 2, 6, 5, 3, 4, 2, 4, 1. We need a 5 in this column. Right there, not right there. We need a 1 in this column. I did the exact same thing. Okay, we need a 4 in this row, and we need a 1 in this row. All right. That took a little bit longer than it should. But that was very, very cool. I really liked how the virtual pairs just continually popped up and were propagating and causing interesting things. I'm not sure if there was something much easier that I could have done that I didn't notice, but I really liked it. I think we're on our last puzzle. I thought we had a couple more, but actually that was just me opening some tabs for changing that happy anniversary puzzle. So we're on our last puzzle, which is, looks like quite a doozy. It is by is it Menderbug? Never had to pronounce this name out loud, but I think it's Menderbug. And there's a couple more rules than what's in here. So it's a fog of war puzzle. So I'm going to look away from the screen and I'm just going to like do this. And as you can see, there's some, you saw some like things popping up. So when we shade cells, we're going to see the clues. I had to do a little bit of experimentation to understand what on earth was happening and if it worked in if it worked in Sudoku Pad, but it does work in Sudoku Pad, and I've forgotten what has happened so far. The answer check probably won't trigger, but we have Wisteria in chat, and I think she solved the puzzle, so we should be good. All right, so the rules. Shade some cells so that no 2 shaded cells are orthogonally adjacent. Okay, that's pretty standard for a lot of pencil puzzles. And the remaining unshaded cells form one orthogonally connected area. So the kingdom rule set. Clues cannot be shaded and represent the area of the largest rectangle of unshaded cells containing the clue. Represent the area of the largest rectangle. Okay, I think I understand that. I want to draw an example, but I'm not going to shade things because I don't want to reveal anything. So I'm going to instead just, I'm going to mark them with X's and O's for shaded and unshaded. So let's imagine that these, oh no, that's already wrong. let's imagine that we figured out that these are shaded, the X's, and that the O's are unshaded. Then this would be correct because this is a rectangle, represents the area. So like the number of cells, right? Is that right? The number of cells, basically. So the largest rectangle of unshaded cells containing a clue. So these two cells would be this 2 clue. And this cell, if it had a clue in it, let's shade a little bit more. Is a square a rectangle? Is a square a rectangle? These are some philosophical questions. Row 2, column 3 would be a... Yes, squares are rectangles. I thought so. So if squares weren't rectangles, we could only put a 3 here because that would... Be careful of that. Because that would be the largest size. But since squares are rectangles... Oh, I need to stop looking at things. Since squares are rectangles, these 4 cells, I'm not going to shade them, these 4 cells would represent the largest rectangle that we could have in that area. I hope that kind of makes sense. We need to connect all the unshaded cells together, and we need to have the numbers which will appear once we shade things. All right. So this 2, we need to shade one of these 2 cells and one of these 2 cells. So we need to have something like that with these 2 cells shaded, or something like that with these 2 cells shaded. But then, regardless of whether it goes this way or if it goes this way, all unshaded cells have to form one orthogonally connected region. So therefore, this set of 2 unshaded cells, I guess we can unshade that, will have to come here. Yes, true. Don't place unproven. Thanks, David. If you're heading out, have a good one. All right, so we have revealed the fog. We have revealed the mist of this 2. And this 2 is saying that, wait, what? Oh, the largest rectangle. Okay. So I was gonna say, wait, is this just the end? Because one of these will be unshaded, so it will be of size 2. But that is just saying that need to not... Okay, I'll use the pen tool. Let's say this one is unshaded, right? Then we'd have to shade that one and shade that one. Then that's saying that the largest rectangle is of size 2. So this is already 2. So we couldn't unshade this. So we'd have to shade that. But shaded cells can't touch. So then we would have to unshade that. And that, because all unshaded cells touch or are connected. And we'd also have to unshade that because... And obviously all of these because unshaded cells can't touch. And then we'd have to shade that. So regardless of what happens here, whether it's sort of this configuration or the opposite, we're always going to end up unshading that cell, because one of these 2 cells will be shaded regardless of which direction that goes, and whichever one is shaded, this one will be unshaded because it will be touching it. So we can also unshade that cell. Oh, that doesn't do anything. I think also these 2 are always unshaded because whether, so if this is the shaded one, and this is the shaded one, then the one next to the shaded one will have to be shaded. This is so confusing to say out loud. So we have to sort of snake this one. We have to snake it like this. So whether we snake it like this, or whether we snake it like this, the unshaded ones have to be on a diagonal. They either have to be like this, or they have to be like this. Therefore, regardless, because the unshaded cells have to be connected, this one will have to come out. But if this is shaded, then this one is unshaded. So regardless of whether we put the shaded one here or we put the shaded one here, this is unshaded. Does that make sense? That was very complicated to explain. But we basically have two different configurations, and regardless of, I think I can draw them in. So either we have this, or we have this. And either way, either this is going to be an unshaded that needs to come out, or a shaded cell that needs to have an unshaded cell next to it. The same can be said of this one. So we always get that these two are unshaded. And this one has a 9 in it. Now 9 is an interesting clue for rectangles because it's either a square, which is like a Sudoku box. I'm trying not to shade or like color things because I don't want to see where the clues are. It's either like a Sudoku box, or it's just a straight 9-cell sequence. How big is this grid? I'm going to turn on the row and column labels for myself. I haven't had those on the whole time. Where on earth are they? There they are. So it's a 10 by 10 grid. So we would have to have it in the column because one of these two cells is shaded. Therefore, we can't have 9 cells across here. Oh, stop shading things, or stop selecting things. So we would have to have it in the column all the way down to the 9th cell. This one. Or it could be a 3 by 3 box. Like in Sudoku. If the shadeds are like that, then the 3 by 3 box, of course, has to go down here. If the shaded cell is here, then it still has to do that. So regardless of whether it takes the column or it takes a 3 by 3 box in this area, these two cells are always unshaded. So therefore, this cell can never be unshaded because then this would be 3 cells and not 2 cells. So this has to be shaded. I'm actually going to use gray, not black. So that has to be unshaded. That has to be shaded. Unshaded, shaded, unshaded. Beautiful. Masterful. I think I hit the mic there. I hope it wasn't too loud. All right. Now this one also has to be shaded because this has to be maximum, or the largest rectangle has to be of size 2. So then this one has to be unshaded because we have to escape there, and these two have to be unshaded because you can't have a shaded next to a shaded. This is now 3, which means that this could never be shaded, or sorry, could never be unshaded, because if this was unshaded, that would be of size 4. So this has to be shaded. And this has to be unshaded because if it was shaded, that would only be of size 2. And this can't be shaded. Keep saying the wrong one. This can't be unshaded. Because if it's unshaded, that's, again, of size 4. So this has to be shaded. We don't know about that one, but we do know that these 3 have to be unshaded, which reveals this 5. 5 can't be of a square type shape. 5 just has to be a straight line. But you could also, just like this 9 can come off. Oh, actually, this is shaded. So, well, first of all, these are unshaded. But second of all, this 9 cannot come all the way down. Oh, be careful of selecting. So it has to take these cells. And it can't take like another whole area. Oh, no, wait. These 3 can't be unshaded. One of those has to be shaded, otherwise this will be greater than 9 cells. Actually, one of these two has to be shaded, because even if... Oh wait, that's only 8 cells. I guess one of these 4 has to be. Well, this one obviously can't get its straight across in the row because there's a shader right here. So it needs to come all the way down here. And it can't be 6 cells, so that has to be shaded, which means these two have to be unshaded. Very nice. This unshaded needs to come out. Now this is a 3, so this could never be unshaded because then we would have a thing of size 4. So it needs to be shaded. That needs to be unshaded. This needs to be unshaded because then we would, if it was shaded, then this would only be of size 2. And now this needs to be shaded because if it was unshaded, this would be of size 4. So now we get 4 or 3 unshaded cells. This cannot, these two can't be unshaded because then this would be bigger than size 2. It would either be of size 3 or size 4. Or more if they were both unshaded. This has to come out and can't come out more. So we get all of this, which is kind of crazy. This has to be 4 cells in the column. So even if it took that cell, it would also have to take that cell, which is already next to a shaded cell. Didn't really need to think about that very much, but we did. If this was unshaded, then this would be of size 6, not of size 5. So that needs to be shaded. Very cute. This puzzle is really cute. One of these 2 cells has to be the unshaded one for the 4, but then it has to be... it has to be... no. I thought I was onto something. It needs to be like cornered by shaded cells, but I think it's fine if that one is shaded, then this one could come all the way down here. This needs to get 4 cells somewhere. Can't get in its column. Could get it like that. Could not get it like that. Could do that. Then these would all be shaded cells. And that one. Well, this 4 is interesting because... that is interesting because it can't come up. It either goes this way or like that, just like this one. So one of these two, because if both of them went horizontal, then the 2 would be broken. It would be 3. So one of these 2 does that, and one of them does the row. Or wait, no, not necessarily. Because both of them... No, both of them can't do this, because if they both did that, then this would be a 5, not a 4. Because both of these would be unshaded. And neither of them can do that, because that would make this 2 a 3. So don't we know that this is shaded? Do we? Oh, interesting. Thanks, John. I didn't know that Meshuganu meant crazy in Yiddish. Surprisingly, I don't know Yiddish. Right, because one of these needs to go in the row, otherwise this would be a 5. So one of these two cells is green. So this cell is shaded. Because that would... No. That's not true. That's not true. Because the 2 can be in both directions. You're right, Super Rabbit. I suppose that means that one of these two cells... Oh, shit. One of those two cells is shaded. Oh, interesting. Oh, like Meshuggah? Oh yeah, I've heard Meshuggah out loud. Yeah, I haven't heard that. Yeah, you're right. I don't know where I've heard that, but I've definitely heard that somewhere. That is weird. Okay, back to the puzzle. Once you hear it, you can connect the dots, but I definitely did not think, why does it have to be shaded? Okay, let's think about whether it, okay, no, can't, let's trial with this. If it's unshaded, then this would be shaded. These would all be unshaded, and whichever 4 took these cells, that would be 5, not 4. That's beautiful. Oh yeah, you would also make a 2 by 2 with the 2. Yeah, that's true. You would make a 2 by 2 with the 4 and the 2. That's another way of looking at it. Yeah, nice. Okay, so now we're getting somewhere. You have this 3 now. What does this 3 mean? Well, we know that one of these two cells is shaded, right? Because one of these 4s takes these two cells, and then that's 4, so that will have to be shaded. So one of these two cells is shaded. The 3 needs 3 cells. Didn't see that. No one saw that. Put it out of your mind. One of these is a 3, because we can't have a 3 like that, because one of these two is shaded because of the 4s. Do we know which one? Or like what that means, or anything really? I guess we also know that one of these two is shaded. Because of whichever one of these is green, that will have to be shaded to stop the 2 from going down. So one of these two is shaded. And the shaded one has the 4 that's horizontal next to it. So if that was shaded, this would be green. And then we'd sort of have to stop these two from being green, because then the 4 would go up too high. So one of these two would need to be shaded as well. Is that some kind of issue? Nope. I don't see an issue with that. Cells that are above the 2 and below the 3. Is it's either part of the 3 or next to the shaded cells that are above the 2. What? Above? Above and below. That are 2 above and below. Are unshaded. Yes, you're right. Okay, so Super Rabbit, I don't know why I was reading that completely wrong. So this 3 is either 2 unshadeds next to it with a shaded here. So it's either this with that, which will make that unshaded, or these 2 are unshaded, and that's shaded, which will make that unshaded. So these 2 are both always unshaded, because it's either 3 in a row, or this is shaded. Thank you, Super Rabbit. Very, very useful. So therefore, this cannot be unshaded, because that would make 3, and this 2 would be broken. That has to be shaded, that has to be unshaded, that has to be shaded, that has to be unshaded, because this would make that 5 instead of 4. That has to be shaded. That has to be unshaded. Surround these with unshaded cells. These have to be unshaded. Those 2 have to be shaded. That has to be shaded. These 2 have to be unshaded, which means that that has to be shaded. That has to be unshaded to get this out. That can't be shaded or unshaded, because then that would mean that's a 4. That has to be unshaded. That has to be unshaded. So that can't be unshaded. That has to be shaded. Okay, we've made a lot of good progress. Those can't both be unshaded. One of those is shaded, because otherwise the 3 would be 6. If that was shaded, then that would also be shaded. But if that was shaded, this could be unshaded. Ah, I see it, I see it, I see it. If this one is shaded, then this whole thing bottom here needs to come out. But if these 2 are shaded, wait, then it doesn't need to come out, does it? Right? Right? What am I missing here? I'm missing something. Maybe something about this 9. Is it these can't both be shaded, right? Maybe? It could maybe. I'm not sure actually, now that I think about it. A hard one to save for the end. I definitely woken up by now though. Is there something obvious that we're missing from before? Nope. So trying to like say something about this cell, which I mean obviously we need to because there's a freaking thing in it. But like if these were both shaded, right, this would have to come up. If this was shaded though, then this would be green. So in those two scenarios, this is green. But I can also see a scenario where this is gray and that could be green or gray, right? Well, if that's green, then that's not green. But if that's gray, then that's green. Oh, and that's green. So actually, no matter what, this is green. Oh, that's really hard. So if these are both gray, this has to come up all the way 3 cells. If this is gray and this is not gray, then that has to be gray, which means that's green. And if this is gray, but that's green, this has to be gray because this would be a 4 cell. And then that would be green because it's next to a shaded cell. So whatever happens here, within those 3 cases, this is always green. Oof, that was tough. So this can't be green because that would be 7 cells. So that has to be gray. Means that's green. This 6 can't get its 6 in the column because that would link it with the 3 and make the 3 also 6. So the 6 needs to get its 6 cell rectangle. It can't get it in the row either, so it needs to get it somehow in a 2 by 3. So it can get it in a number of ways. Let's see, can we find a commonality between these ways that it could get this? So there's 1, that's 2, 3, 4. I think it has to take that cell because, like, if it didn't take that cell, then it would only be straight up and down, right? So it needs to take that cell. It can't do that because that would make the 3, 4. So it can't do that. What does that tell us? Well, the other ways are like that, or like that, or like that. I don't think this can be gray, because if this is gray, then these are all green, and that's green, which would make the 3 a 4. So that has to be green. It's a tough ending. If this was linked, that would have to be gray. So this would have to come out. And this would have to do that. And that would have to be gray. Actually, only one of these two. Is it true that only one of these 3 can be green? Because if these 2 are green, that's broken. If these 2 are green, that's broken. If these 2 are green, that's broken. So only one of these 3 cells can be green. I think I didn't say that before. But these 2 can't be gray. Because if these 2 are gray, that traps that cell. So if only one of these 3 can be green, and these 2 can't be gray, then this has to be gray. Because if that was green, we know that that can't be green and that can't be green, so they would have to be gray and that would trap that cell. So this has to be gray. That's so weird. So then this bottom section here of unshaded cells needs to get out. Oh, that is weird. The 4 is weird. Because now we can't do this. So that can't be green. If that was green, the 3 would have to end here. So if that was green, this would have to be gray to stop the 3 from being 4. And then we would have to make 6 like that, but that would mean the 4 was 6. So that has to be gray. This has to be green. Regardless of whether we're doing this or this has to be green. This has to be gray because the 4 has to stop there. The 6 has to get 6 cells exactly like that. That has to be unshaded because of the shaded next to it. And if that was unshaded, this 9 would be, what is that? 6 plus 6 is 12. So this has to be shaded. And I think that is the solution. That was a wild puzzle. This thing around the 3 was like, it'll be hard. I think I might have made it harder than it needed to be if I had realized that only one of these 3 could be green, then I think that would have been a lot easier. And I think I could say that earlier, but I just wasn't quite like there. It was about a 30-minute solve. Tricky one, but very enjoyable. I feel like I'm not like conveying my enjoyment. I liked it. That's the solution, right, Wisteria? I didn't do anything wrong. It doesn't look wrong, so I'm guessing that's the solution, but okay, perfect. All right, we solved 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 14 puzzles. Whoa, let's go. That was a lot. I think that's the most puzzles we've solved in a solving stream, probably. Usually we solve like 4. But usually they're a lot harder, like this one times 4 or times 6 sometimes. Not like in terms of difficulty, but the number of puzzles, of course. Yeah. Well, thanks for hanging out. I really enjoyed doing all these puzzles. I really liked a lot of these puzzles. I'm honestly blown away by the quality of the puzzles that were like the first that people set. They're amazing. Anyways, thanks for hanging out, and I hope you have a good day, good Tuesday, and see you later. Bye. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe, like, and all that.